thought we had some good work. There's a lot of detail to go into it.
Is Juwan Johnson's absence attached to what he was already?
Yeah, same thing. Yep, all good.
What do you like about the offensive line? What have you seen that working together?
Yeah, they're spending a lot of time together. They're working really hard. I love the physicality, and now it comes down to consistency, and that group has to lead our team. There has to be a leadership group. We've invested a ton of resources in that group, and so we expect a lot out of them.
Kellen, is that more a game plan? Looking at Rattler like at first, it didn't wonder like it was a quarterback run, not an RPO. Do you have that both in the game plan, like actually run pass option and just it looks like maybe RPO, but
we had a couple. We had a couple different tools in practice today. Again, just exposure to different schemes. There were some RPOs, but there were some design QB reads, read option types things where you can read the end and potentially pull it.
How do you expect California practices to be different?
We will shift to an afternoon practice. That'll be the main thing. Just our day will shift. But other than that, the intensity, the workload, very, very similar to what we're doing. We're still in training camp mode out there. That's the biggest thing. Like this isn't, a thing to go out there and have fun. We're still going to full normal training camp mode out there. And so it'll be excellent work for us.
Do you expect to do live scrimmage work in the next, Thursday, Friday?
Yeah, we'll have one more practice when we're out there on Thursday, and then on Friday will be a scrimmage-like setting there. It won't be quite Sunday because obviously we have a game on Sunday, so we won't do that again. It'll be a little bit less than 126. So that'll be a scrimmage-type setting there. Again, one more opportunity right before the Chargers game, and then we'll play the Chargers, and then essentially we have 3 more practices out there. So we'll get some excellent work.
What went into how you kind of rotated the QBs today with Spencer going out there with the ones first, and has that rotation process kind of evolved at all with the preseason game coming
Yeah,
up?
it's a day-to-day thing. Obviously, Spencer got a healthy dose of the ones there. Tyler got a little bit right at the end, and so we'll continue to evaluate each day. Very much in the evaluation mode, and we'll see how it all plays out.
Has he shown you something lately to get like back-to-back days?
Yeah, I think he's doing a really good job. I think he's finding completions. Doing a really good job protecting the football. He does have some ability to play with his feet. I think that's one thing that's shown from his perspective is his ability to get out of some things at times. He's doing some good things.
Have you decided on Rattler starting the first preseason game?
No, we have not.
What's the value of the shift to afternoon practices?
Just the weather out there and allow us to kind of be in more of a routine where we can install, walk, and then we'll practice at the end of the day. Nice little change for our guys. We tend to play, in afternoon games, and so a chance for us to kind of get back into that setting.
Kellen, what determines the running back rotation for the first preseason game Chargers? So just the preseason games in general, because you have only so many reps.
Yeah.
And you had a handful of backs.
Yeah, we're certainly we'll have those conversations here. Really, once we get to California, just as we ramp up going into the game on Sunday. Alvin, you won't see him. We're good there. But the rest of these guys, they're all going to get awesome reps, and so really all of them are alive the entire game. We'll try and get as many looks as we can. We'll obviously have to make a decision Wednesday, Thursday on a pecking order as we go into that.
Has that position been a little difficult to evaluate at this point? It seems like you got a lot of guys, and obviously with not full tackling, I'm guessing it's got to be a little difficult, right?
Yeah, the volume's a little bit tricky just because we have probably more than you normally would coming into a camp, but they're all worthy. There's not one guy in there that can't make our 53. They're all really good players. And then, the tackling component is real, and that's what you're most excited about with those guys in preseason.
How many running backs Tyler seems to have a tendency sometimes to do a little sidearm Mahomes throw. Is there a time and a place for it? I mean, as a quarterback yourself, when is that a good decision? When's it maybe you want to just plant and throw?
I think you hit it there. You have to throw at different arm angles from a quarterback perspective. I think that's an important aspect of these guys. At the same time, when it is clean and you do have the opportunity to throw it in a more traditional manner, you just want to make sure you're using the right fundamentals when you need to.
Does not having joint practices affect your approach to preseason games with how you'd want to have the reps or anything?
Potentially a little bit. We'll create some setting while we're out in California where we're going to create a little bit of joint practice type feel to it, competing against each other. And so I think there'll be some really good work out there that'll feel more, a little more unscripted, a little more game-like, where we can kind of simulate what you normally would have gotten in those settings.
You mentioned Alvin, but are there other guys that maybe you know who they are that you won't need to play in the preseason?
Yeah, certainly there'll be some of those guys. Again, we're not there yet. Once we get to California, we're going to have a meeting and kind of discuss the plan of action with really that Friday practice and that Sunday game. Those two kind of go together from a volume standpoint. So we just got to make sure we're dialed there.
You talked about all the talent in the running back room. How many running backs do you ultimately hope to keep on the roster?
Yeah, most of the time it's 3 or 4 in an NFL roster when you're talking about a 53-man roster, and then 1 or 2 on practice squad. And so really we'll see how it all plays out.
I felt like Will started with the first team, and then Eric took over for that final set of reps. Was there a reason?
Yeah, we're just managing Eric's workload just a little bit and putting Will in that setting. So yeah.
Same with Justin Reed.
Yeah, there was a few guys today just coming off of the Sunday practice. We had obviously some excellent work on Sunday, just managing those guys, put them in position so that come the California, once we get there Thursday, these guys can be ready to just go.
What have you seen out of Cam Jordan? What has he been like to deal with, both off the field and on the field?
Yeah, both aspects. I think he's done an awesome job. Obviously, his leadership's really valuable for us. We need it. We need him to be a guy who leads by example each and every day. And so on the field, he's doing a really nice job. And you love his play style, you love his effort. His relentlessness shows up each and every day. And so he'll still have a very important role for us.
How do you like this fit in this game?
Yeah, I think he's done a nice job. It's a transition for him. We get that part of it, and so he's doing a great job just kind of picking up on it each and every day.
Is it a bit of a challenge when you want to evaluate all 3 of the quarterbacks to maybe want to play them with one offensive line, but yet you don't want to play too much of your one offensive line because you want to have apples to apples?
We'll see how that progresses. I think that's a fair discussion that we're certainly going to have. At the end of the day, we want all these quarterbacks to have a ton of success in preseason. We want to put them in the best possible situation to be successful. That should always be our goal. And so, I think we'll have those conversations for sure.
Without putting your starting
For sure.
for the first half of 2 games.
Yeah, we'll see how it all goes.
You've had a lot of great running backs that you've called plays for. How is Alvin even among the great running backs? From your perspective, how is he different? What is unique for him, even among the great running backs?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Alvin's really a premier player. I think his vision's been really impressive. His ability to make that one cut and get north and south is really, really impressive. And then in the pass game, you can tell certainly we've dabbled in a little bit. There's a lot more probably to add to it as we continue to build, but his ability to play in the pass game will be very valuable.
You mentioned you don't know who's obviously going to start on Thursday with the QBs. When it comes to kind of where they're at now, like what steps do you want both of them to take in order for one of them to kind of establish themselves and kind of get a little bit more ahead in this specifically?
Yeah, I think it's the consistency each and every day. It's the leadership part of it. These guys, whoever ends up being the quarterback, you got to be a leader for this team, and that's a really important aspect of it. And so, we're trying to put them in a lot of different situations. I think, mixed down football's fun, but there's third downs, and today was a great example of putting them in a bunch of third down situations. Those are challenging situations, and you want to see the guys who can handle those.
Were you on the field for Shuck's interception? Did you see that? Or?
I did see it. I had a little bit of batting. It looked like a safety played over the top and made a play. So.
Did Joe just want to see Torres Elliott center today to see that he could do it, or is that sort of a long-term?
Yeah, we certainly feel like he can do it. So that's part of the evaluation process. For a younger guy, kind of keep him in that guard position for a while. We got through the scrimmage. Now we feel like there's some opportunities. A few of these guys will play in some different positions in the next week or two, just for us to have some cross-references and some more evaluation on them.
Considering Spencer's live rep history, have you seen any leap from this training camp from like last season?
I think his command, you can certainly feel his command. I think the way he calls plays in the huddle, the way he communicates at the line of scrimmage, I think he's a really decisive player, and that's certainly what shows up.
Can I ask you a question about Chase Haslett? You had him in Dallas and you brought him here. Just obviously a lot of us know his father.
Yeah.
Just what makes him a good young coach? Why did you want him on your staff?
Yeah, Chase is phenomenal. I had a chance to work with him in Dallas for a number of years, and so anytime you have an opportunity, potentially to be a head coach, you're always kind of road mapping, who you'd love to have on your staff, and he was one of those guys. We spent a lot of time together in Dallas. He's really, really detailed. He prepares. He's got a great football mind. He thinks outside the box, which I love, and you can just tell he's got great connection with this tight end group. This group rallies behind him. He has these guys prepared, so it'll be a lot of fun.
People here in the building talk to you about his dad. Does he talk about his dad ever winning the first playoff game in history?
Yes, we got to get the Haslett reunion here sooner rather than later. But obviously they got great experience here. It's fun for Chase, I think, at times to, come back to the facility and he recognizes the rooms and where his dad's office used to be and all that fun stuff.
Kellen, I know they already had the lockers and locker rooms set up when you got here, but did you make any changes as to like what players are next to each other? Do you think about that? Does it matter?
We did not. Let Bum roll with that one. All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Tradition.
That was the other reason why. Yeah, you can leave now.
He's
No,
What's up, guys?
Hey, Cam.
Howdy, howdy. Good morning. Morning, right. Yeah. Some of us been up since 5:45. It's cool.
Cam, I'm one of those. With the kids.
No.
Oh,
no.
you were up
It's
working.
training camp. I am
Okay.
not a part of the family. Off days, yeah. In training camp,
There you go.
training camp. We got to focus on the main thing.
With training camp, are you excited to kind of switch venues and scenery here going to California?
I
or
don't
you
think
wanna
that
stay
has
here?
that has never mattered. I'll say that a scrimmage play script. When we finished with the 126, I'm sure it would feel better in California, but maybe it's supposed to hurt. So it's training camp. I rely on the old mantra of a head coach that once said, we're in a tunnel and I'll tell you when to look for light. We're not there yet.
Cam, how do you view your role?
I know coach will be Sean Payton, by the way.
Yes, I figured that.
How do you view your role as far as in the rotation? Do you see yourself as like a pass rush?
I see myself as every down, and then they'll direct me accordingly. My job is not to see a role. My job is to say, hey, how can I help my team win? I train with the way I've always trained. I've trained with the idea that I can impact each and every play, and it's up to you to use me accordingly. If you want a sledgehammer, there I am. If you want a jackknife, I can be that too. If you want somebody who just is a primary pass rusher, guess what? I don't know if you know this, but I should be in one of the pantheons of great pass rushers in the 2000s alone, let alone this team. So whatever that you need, I'm there for it. I think we have a strong edge group with Chase, Carl Granderson, as well as Isaiah Foskey, and I mean we've seen some talented things from those guys. So I can see why we push towards the future, because that future is going to be electric. At the same time, with the way this defense has changed, I'm getting excited. Just give me the week one. Look, I get it. You guys are excited about the Chargers and whoever else we play in preseason. I've got circled on my calendar Arizona Cardinals.
Cam, those are kind words with Isaiah Foskey.
No, it's not.
You see more on the field from Isaiah Foskey?
Yes and no. I think there was
who that nation wants to see.
There was things that we had to iron out. For some players, Rome wasn't built in a day. Some players are not just a plug and play unless it's a specific role, but at the same time, you see a guy who has a yearning for learning, and then you go on with his talents. He's 6'5", he's got long arms, he likes to play physical, and yet he has amazing speed when he decides to put it all in gear. So the moment this game starts slowing down for him, you can start seeing him make more plays as you have this camp already. He smoothed out his steps. Instead of the 100 steps to go 3 yards, now he's galloping. He's taking off, and that's going to bode well for his future. Again, if you're looking for him to be an impact player day one, maybe we could have forced it, but the way that he's progressed, I think he's going to have a bright future.
How do you like your fit in this defense, and what do you feel like it brings the best from your qualities?
I don't even know what number D coordinator this is for me. I sort of have seen some of these fronts from the Rob Ryan days, for sure, the Spag days. I've seen influences. It feels like every D coordinator of past has sort of been touched this defense. So I'm fine my familiarities. There's one year where I think it went by a Jack name. I consider myself a defensive end, and a complete one at that. I don't know how many more. There's probably 3 of us left. But if it calls for me to be an edge, label me as such and let me ride. At the end of the day, I want to do whatever's best for the team. I want to win here, and I want to make my case known that the focus this year is figuring out how to get our wins each and every time. There was a time where we could rely on one player or 2 players to get you 6-7 wins. We're in it. It's going to take all 22 on offense and defense, 33 on special teams to get this job done this year.
You talked about how excited you are to play in this game, but now more settled at this point of training camp. How much more settled is this line?
I don't know. I just want to hit people. I'm going to leave scheming up to scheming. I'm just going to punch somebody within the lines. Yeah.
Who are those 3 complete defensive ends? Like, who are some of the others?
Man, look, I think there's game wreckers, there's edge players, and then there's complete guys. I think Miles is a complete guy. I think Nick Bosa is a complete guy, and then myself. I think there's game wreckers. Back when you had J.J. Watt, where they could play anywhere in the edge. I think you put Max Crosby there, the T.J. Watts there, the Zadarius Smiths there. Anybody who just like lines up and goes. Aiden Hutchinson, put him at end, but he's really that pass rusher that uses that power. It sort of reminds you of Jared Allen. You look at across the league, and there's these young guys. You've got both the edge rushers over at Jacksonville who have similar characteristics traits. I just think that as I'm scoping the new front, I'm like, man, you can see a lot of prowess, a lot of specialized focus, and at the same time, It's making edge fun. You look at Michael Parsons, who, you know, after T.J. Watt got paid, you assume is going to be the next highest paid. You look at the edge and the production there, you know exactly what you got. They've heralded him as the next LT since he came in, and I mean, if you look at the stats, it's similar. He's a hell of an edge, you know. And so it's just when you understand what I know, you know, when you understand the game of edge and how it's either formulated or evolved from the days of me watching Chris Dolman, it's, you know, and Reggie White. Those days are gone. You know, I looked up at the Freak. I looked up Michael Strahan. I got to play in the same era as Julius Peppers for a while, Jared Allen, Terrell Suggs, and you just looked at they're all different types of ends, and which one do you formulate into? You know, everybody wants to be like Reggie, but you can't be 310 pounds coming off the edge, mashing cats like Chris Jones does. You know, he's really a 3-tech, but you put him at end. I mean, you know, it's just, like I said, loving the game and knowing what it is out there. You try to keep on learning, keep on stealing from other people.
You said that you're focused on week one. I mean, obviously the preseason for you is, you know.
It's great for bonding. It's great to learn this defensive scheme. It's great to find your hard edge in this Louisiana temperatures that we get to run a 126 play scrimmage.
But do you understand
And then practice 2 days later.
I guess this preseason, especially for like young guys that with so many jobs up for grabs. You mentioned
My job could be up for grabs. Who knows? But that's just it. Right now, you're working your butts off to earn a spot, all geared towards. Okay, great. Glad we're on the same page.
Speaking of those young guys, Jasheen Davis, Fadil Diggs, what have you seen from them so far?
Man, Jasheen is trying to be a speed demon right now, ain't he? Like, he's coming off the edge. He's really bought into this idea, and I don't think anybody's told him, of play as fast as you can and then correct the mistakes later. But as we're correcting those mistakes, it's smoothing out, but he's playing as fast as he can. And Fadil is learning on the go. He's got a body reminiscent of Martez Wilson. Every time I look out there, I'm like, no, Fadil. Okay. But just his way of how he's able to use his leverages, he's got to make him a smoother process.
Can you speak to Christian Boyd's motor and the progress he's made?
A nose tackle with the motor. We love to see it. Man, I think KB is heading into year 2, and he's done it the right way. You know, he harbored all energy that he wanted to improve, be better this offseason, and he took to it. I think that he's going to be surprisingly a great splash addition to this defense. He's looking at what Godchild's doing. He's looking at what Colin Sanders is doing, and he's internalizing what he can steal from him and add to his game. But he's getting a little twitchy down there. You know, it's exciting to see a big 3. I don't know what he's here. I'll let him label his weight, but no, it's still above 3 something. You know, it's exciting when you got a big bowling ball in that middle. That allows everybody else to play well.
What do you think this defense's potential is?
Don't do this to me. Don't tell me about potential. I love the idea of potential so much, and I'm a rave about my teammates and where our defense can be a top 1 or 2 defense in this league. But every day we have to go and earn it. We're not in position to be like, hey, we were top 5 last year, so we're going to be top 5 this year. We made the playoffs. We haven't. So all we have to do is keep on swinging uphill, because that's what it is. It's going to be an uphill battle.
Cam, have you noticed a difference in Chase at all? Pete Werner was talking about kind of the
Hell yeah.
maturity and like.
We on his tail. We on his tail. I mean, you see the explosive plays. You see where you can say, hey, he can be special, and we want that. We want that every play. So everybody's on him. Me, Carl, Pete, Double D. Hey, dog. Like, we see your splash play. Don't let it be a splash, and let it be a wave.
What's the how do you?
That's a bar, people. I don't. Okay.
What? This is very simple, but like, how do you convert pressures to sacks? Is there, besides
Man,
bringing in-
I remember having this conversation Max Crosby's second year with him about, like, dog, I'm getting all these pressures and not converting to sacks. That's just it. Each one of these pressures has potential. You have to be able to capitalize on potential. Sometimes it's that perfect combination of corners taking away that first read, so quarterback has to pat. It's the, hey, I got there fast enough and I have an interior push where he can't step up. Sometimes it's just more than what you give him, but at the same time, you have to keep on giving. The idea of football is you never know when it's your play, so you have to be there each and every time.
Cam, you play for a lot of defensive coordinators. What makes Brandon Staley a little unique? I mean, what makes him kind of, a little different?
Man, I think this idea of multiplicity, as you see, each and every day, it's like we're installing new front, new wave, new whatever. But at the same time, it's sort of true in the idea that we're trying to get our edges to play as fast as they can, and I love to hear it. You know, the faster we play, in my mind, defensive ends, edge rushers, or, whatever your edge component is, that's your premier position. And then, you know, you work in or out, however you see fit. But if the faster they play, the more we crash down these walls, the tighter we make the game, the tighter the pocket is for a quarterback to pass out of, the more we can affect the game.
Is he doing that a little different than maybe other guys in the past?
Of course. Again, like you've seen the front differences. I'm not going to just give you the answer, but you see our changes, our package that we got in and out. I'm excited for one day. You know, there will be a package with, you know, me, Carl, Chase, and Foskey on the field, or Rumpf on the field, whatever it is. There's going to be some package changes. Maybe we'll look up and it'll be Godchild, KB, Brian Brzee, and Vince and VB.
In what way is that on off the field?
I don't know how that works, but I like it. Huh? Sorry.
On off the field. How do you,
Yeah, you put VB on the edge, put Brees on the edge, and they crash down like Chris Jones does, you know. And then you got the two big hogs in the middle. Lot of weight, lot of weight.
I'm trying to be gentle.
Yeah, absolutely. Sledgehammer package. I don't know.
in what ways have you seen Spencer grow on and off the field?
Man, I think Spencer this camp is gotten confident. Not that he needs any more confidence, but you know, with his checkdowns, his ability to say, hey, if I don't see it in the air, I can beat him with the feet. You've seen him spring out the pocket a lot more, open it up, sort of gives that early on Russell Wilson vibe, right? And that's probably high praise because he won a Super Bowl that year. But, you know, I think that with his growth and just being in the league for the second year in a row, he's got that sort of chip on his shoulder. You know, you've still got Shuck, who's showing some brilliant stuff. When he decides to run, he's sort of slippery. So, like, he's deceptively fast. You never would have thought about it, but he can run. And, of course, Jake Hayner, he comes in practice with this determination that nobody ever talks about. But he's a little gunslinger. Little. He's not little. He's 5.
Kevin, this is a
5
totally
Jupiters.
different. It's a totally different topic. We're doing a story on
Chase Daniel.
locker room placement.
I'm sorry.
We're
Yes.
doing a story on locker room placement, and I was wondering, like, at what year in your career?
What are you doing?
did
What are you doing here?
get
What are you
the-
doing? Are you exposing me right now?
Did you get the what
This-
year
this
did you
feels
get the
exposing.
prime locker?
Oh,
Like,
no.
at what point do you
What
get the
happened
corner
was
locker?
it was COVID year, right? And like we needed to be separated. So everybody just sort of got walled off, you know? And in that isolation tour, I found a great spot, you know? That's all that is. It wasn't what year. It was because of dire circumstances that we had to isolate each other with clear panel doors. I was against taking the clear panels down, you know? But then, you know, Trump got elected, so.
Who moves into Tyron's locker now?
Look at him, he ran away. He's like, we're in Louisiana, I'm out. No, Tyrod, I think we got 2 guys that moved in, right?
You get the corner locker too, right?
Yeah, one of them, you know. I'm not here to pressure out any names, but there's specific, you know, players that have earned it, that have got a nice little corner situation. There's another defensive leader out there. There was another defensive leader, then the defensive leader retired. So we moved in, I think, 2 guys. You know, that good piece of land turned into, you know, the half-acre lot turned into quarters.
What quantifies earning that? Is it a longevity? Is it production?
Jesus. Whole lot of luck, a lot of blessings. To even play this long, to be able to say you played heading into year 15, to only have missed a couple games. You look around, one for COVID, one for a broken eye socket. You look around and you're like, yo, just the blessed with the lucky, you know, the magnitude of it all. To play in 200 and I don't even know how many games. To be available, I always say your best ability is availability. And I've been able to be available. So that goes with the prehab, that goes with the massages. Shout out to the Saints training room, you know, the equipment guys that take care of the helmets, the pads. That goes to the masseuses, to the physical therapy, real masseuses, the physical therapists. That goes to everybody, you know, the family making it easy for me to get the proper sleep, food intake, whatever that is. It's a combination of everything. You know, whether that's the compressions and the wraps in between meetings at times, that's realizing you're no longer 22, so you got to get in the hot tubs, refuse to get in the cold tub. But, you know, it's a combination of everything and being able to maximize your time in between meetings, unless you have media.
You talked about the defensive coordinators that you've had. You've had a lot of you've had a few defensive.
I mean, really, I've had
coordinators
like
as well.
5, right?
But you
coordinator
got a
stakes.
few defensive line coaches too. What's the value now?
Whew,
sort
I
of
learned the value.
Yeah,
I learned the value of a great D-line coach. I was like, no, it's the players to play. Sometimes you have a coach that can inhibit abilities. It's crazy. Didn't know that happened.
Now you have kind of this focused edges coach in addition to the defensive.
In
line
addition,
coach, the value
you see what Bo is able to do with the interior D-line coach. Bo and BY over there taking the interiors and the way they're talking, and they're talking technique. And it's just like, it's a good coach is saying all pretty much the same things of where to strike, how to place placement. It's just maybe a different vernacular that they're using. You know, the different words that they're emphasizing to say the same, stress the same points, inside hands, tip of the V. This is where your striking level is. On a pass rush, this is where you want to attack at. But it's pretty much the same rhetoric. Again, just the different delivery. So when you look at the edge rushers, the only difference, because now, you know, we used to play around with the drop every now and again. Now we're living in this I'm a linebacker mode, which I haven't seen since pre-high school. I used to like run away from 7-on-7, and now kids are running to it. I used to be like, oh, 7-on-7? Yeah, so track. So basketball, you know, and now kids are like, all I do is football, 7-on-7. I'm like, Jesus, loves everybody. Good for you guys. I love that it's an Olympic sport coming up. But we're living in this realm, and so now it's more notes again. Hell, I did away with my iPad already. You know, iPad has a playbook in it. No, I want real physical notes. I went back to a kid again, because you feel like with the iPad, you be looking, but if all you're doing is memorizing, you can't be able to have that creativity to be able to mold to where formation is deferred. Where on a notebook, now I can sort of, my doodles, I can sort of figure out where the X, Y is going to be, where the Z is going to be, how everything moves and where I can relate to. So now I've got more ability to focus on what I need to do. So my notebook looks like a scrapbook. Anyways, God bless. I'm out of here. Bye.
Thanks, Cam. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Cam.
No, that is beautiful. No, I mean, no way, shape, or form would I ever do that good.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to wait for Clyde. Watch him be last. Steve-O. We are getting blind. I mean, I was like, God damn. Just testing, do you remember which one was, I forgot his grandson, the one I sent you. Monty, the kid from Troy. Whose grandson was that, I tell you? It's in my chart. I don't remember now, but I tell you, it was somebody's grandson. Yeah. I sent you that shit. I can't remember who it is. I remember the kid, I remember the grandfather. I never know. No, but I just forgot, I just drew a blank. I sent you something, I had to ask you who it was. Didn't? That's why I told you. I always going old school. Do you write all your shit in handwriting? No. Right. No. First, I write. Just stuff. Preseason is shit show. Well, it didn't get a lot of names, but then again, she's got some second half. I know that's going to be. Yeah, it probably all. Who's that over there? Was that nice? I feel bad for the person who requested him to get a one-on-one because everybody just go, "Roo." I'm gonna go say hi.
What's up, brother? Good, man. How you doing?
We gotta start you off. Are you thankful that Madden has decided long snappers are people too?
Yeah, but I'm not thankful that Blake Groupie had to say something about it. No, I appreciate Blake saying something, and yeah, it's good. I'm just glad we have our own, position now. The ranking, I could care less. It's been kind of fun being the last guy on Madden, especially for the kids to chirp at me on Instagram and stuff. So, but yeah. No,
have you been
it's cool.
boycotting the game, and does this affect your decision to?
I'm not a gamer anyway, so yes, I have been boycotting the game. No, I don't care.
Do you still plan to snap a football into the disc or?
No, not anymore. Okay. No, that was a one and done situation. I think they got the message. Yeah, so.
What is it like working with 3 different punters, and what have you seen from them?
It's definitely a new thing for me. Nothing really changes for me though. You know, luckily these guys aren't very picky on where they want the ball. They just want it in the vicinity somewhere. But you know, all 3 of them are great guys. You know, obviously I know Matt the longest. You know, just good luck to whoever gets the job. And I know one guy's not going to make it to California, which is unfortunate, but it's just the name of the game. But I'm pulling for all 3 of the guys, and I would trust that the front office is going to make the best decision for the team.
Obviously, Blake had like a really, really good season last year. Was very consistent to start training camp. How have you seen him grow in his time here with you?
One thing I say about Blake is he's a mental giant. Like everybody pokes fun of him all the time for his size. He gets all the time. It doesn't seem to bother him at all. There's not a lot that I've seen that has shaken Blake, which I think is the most important thing you need as a specialist, and especially a kicker. He is just so mentally strong, and I give that to him, and I envy that because, I struggle with doubts every now and then. I've never seen that kid doubt himself, and it's inspiring, and, and it shows on the field. He literally is like the epitome of next kid. The last one doesn't matter, the one in the future doesn't matter. He's like the next one I'm focused on, and I think that's really helped with his success, and I think he's going to keep getting better and better each year the longer he's able to do that.
I know that you're one of the, I think, maybe older guys at this point, but you kind of are.
Yeah.
This is a new chapter for the organization. How has this been? I think everybody's in the honeymoon period for a while, new coach, optimism reigns supreme, but how has this been with the new regime for the most part?
It's good. The vibe in the locker room is great. We seem to be like a close-knit team. And we haven't spent that much time together, which is the funny thing about it. It feels closer than what it's been in the past few years. I feel like everybody in the locker room seems to be in high spirits and everything's pretty optimistic. No negativity, and I know we're just getting in the grinder of camp, where things can start to get, people can start complaining and, getting tired, but I haven't seen that yet. And yeah, the camp's been hard, but it's been productive, I think. I think people are like excited about fresh faces being in here. So yeah, I think we got a good thing going in the locker room so far.
It's a good time to go to California and get out of the heat.
Absolutely, that's any time. It's a good time to go to California and get out of the heat. But yeah, we're looking forward to it.
What ways have you noticed Kellen make an impact, just in terms of, you mentioned the locker room, but just what he's brought, and are there any things like distinctive, you've been in the NFL for a long time now, that like, oh, that's new to me, or that's like he's bringing a fresh, is he bringing a fresh approach?
Yeah, he does. I feel like, with Sean here, he was, very aggressive and assertive, personality. Kellen is, laid back, just himself, man, which I think everybody appreciates when somebody can get up in front of a room of, a bunch of guys who think they're the alpha males, and get up and lead a team and not try to pretend to be anybody else but yourself. Because people can usually see right through that. But with Kellen, he's super genuine up there, and I think all of the, the players really appreciate somebody like that.
Hey Zach, what would it mean to you just to repeat as a captain, if you will, going into another year?
That would be awesome. It's not a huge priority of mine to be, considered a leader from everybody. I just want to do my job, and if I can, be an example that people think that I deserve that, that's great. I'll love that. I just want to be myself, and if I get that honor again, I'll be super pleased.
Thanks, Zach.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it.
Nice to see you too, yes sir.
Hey Ugo, is there anything on this defense or special teams unit you're not doing?
so far?
No, I'm doing everything. You know, that's just always been my name. It's been a knack for me ever since I came in the league. So yeah, I'm ready for everything and whatever it takes to help this team win.
How do you feel like that sort of versatility is maybe emphasized in this Brandon Staley scheme?
I think this versatility in Brandon's scheme is very important because when you're playing a new position that you're already used to, there's no sense of being like nervous in this situation. Everything's calm for you. So the sense of fearfulness or anything like in doubt, it doesn't have to cross my mind because I'm already used to playing something else, but just at a different position. Twice at one time, almost.
A lot of fresh faces in your room, obviously the trio of Jonas, Julian, Justin. Can you kind of talk about those guys?
All those guys are unique in their own different way. You know, we got a young guy, but the crazy thing is like 2 out of those 3, they're all the same age as me. So you know, I think it's unique. You know, it's different, and I still think they adapt to our culture very well since they've been here.
A couple days ago, the scrimmage, Kellen said 126 plays. A lot has been made of the recovery time that has been part of the training camp. Is there an understanding that they're going to take care of us, but when it's time to go, you know, you got to go?
I don't know. I think this coaching staff is doing a really good job of just like take care of the players, know when to push it, know when to back off. And I mean, as we've seen the results, like we have a lot of guys still practicing at this moment, and you know, and I think they really understand like let's get these guys to the game. And I think that's the next level where the game has changed. You know, not so much beat you down, but make sure getting you to the game and getting you to recover for the next game and the next opportunity.
Everybody has talked about the vibe being different, right, and the energy. For you, what do you feel like has been the biggest change during this training camp?
I mean, the biggest change I've seen thus far, from my perspective, is the way Kellen Moore has just been running everything. I feel like he has a good team behind him. You know, as a young coach, you know, you get your first opportunity. You know, you're really just learning as you go. But I honestly feel, from my personal opinion, like the way he's run the team meetings, the way he's organized the thing, the coach staff he brought in, I think he's, whether it's him or somebody who's behind him, help guiding him, they're going about it the right way.
Back to Justin, can you just kind of speak to his leadership?
Justin, I mean, that's just a natural thing for him. I feel like his just being a leader. You know, he's naturally a talker, but he's not a talker that over talks. He talks for you to understand and to learn from him because he's very knowledgeable. Stanford kid, so you know, Stanford guys, they got a chip on their shoulder already. You know, but we still beat them in college. I mean, that's probably like 2-2. But anyways, but he's a good dude. You know, very very wise, very knowledgeable, a guy you can learn from, and he'll take you under his wing.
What are some of the things that Kellen does in those team meetings that stand out as unique for you?
For me, for Kellen, is he knows how to talk to a team. You know, some coaches where I've been, like they're not really talkers, you know, and he can really talk to a team. He's very calm up there. He addresses everything. He's not afraid to do any of that type of stuff. And again, he's very young doing this, so like kudos to him on, you know, taking advantage of this opportunity and going about it the right way.
There were a lot of questions when he got the job, or even when he was just kind of in the interview cycle, about sort of his calmness and demeanor, maybe not being able to be like a quote-unquote leader of men.
Yeah.
Have you seen that quality on the positive side? Have you seen evidence the otherwise?
What I've seen is like, for what he's been as a head coach, it kind of like translates to him as a quarterback. You know, he never panics. You know, when you know you're going against a big team this year or a big opportunity, I feel like he just stays poised and he just goes with the flow. If something happens, he just adjusts and goes. If he's supposed to go left and if something happens, he goes right. You know what I'm saying? No, there's no sense of panic with him. You know.
I think when
is Kellen your first offensive-minded head coach?
Yeah, Kellen is my first. No, second. Andy Reid. So he's my second, but he's my first young offensive-minded head coach for sure.
From your perspective, does anything change? Like, do you learn anything different when he's speaking to the team as opposed to the way things are presented?
Oh yeah, I definitely learn differently because the way they're doing it now is they want the defense to learn how the offense see things. So when he says something to the team, he speaks it to the offense, but the defense should know it as well. So I feel like that's very big, and I think he's, like I said, I think he's doing a really good job thus far of how he's just going about carrying the team, leading the team, and leading a young group of guys as well.
I think when the team hired Staley to be the DC, like a lot of the talk was just about like how the front would change, but like from your perspective, how different is what y'all are doing on the back end versus?
I think on the back end, we're more vision on the quarterback now. We're still, you know, still doing our normal thing, you know, what the secondary's been known for. But I feel like with him, he wants to change it just a slight bit, but still keep our demeanor as like what we have in the back end, you know, using our strengths. But I still feel like on the back end, nothing much really changed as far as how we're playing. It's just where our eyes are going to be at this time.
Yeah, and that'll hopefully lead to more plays in the ball.
More plays on the ball, more interceptions, more turnovers, and a great year. Beautiful guys, Dynamite. Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, no, for real. Let it be known then.
I know. Yeah, you can't. Oh, I don't want it. I haven't seen these years. Mine stood out. Yeah, mine too. The movie. It is. So I went out like the oh, wow. Look at this.
Uncle's dad, he raised him right. He's a joke.
I ain't even look at him.
Yeah, it is. And you don't see that. Especially college kids. I mean, he looks like, I don't know if he does, but he wears a suit and tie, coat and tie to practice. You know? So I'm going to see what this kid's going to be in 10 years. Class kid.
Feels nice.
Yes, sir.
Just appreciate the shorts, but
Nah, those are fire.
You like that? Y'all like that?
Yeah.
Well, I got to ask you, what is with Catholic Baton Rouge? Well, it turned out a lot of running backs. What's in the water there, man?
I would say it must be in the water, or we got some guys there. I don't want to say they can recruit very well, but they can find talent in the city, and that's the thing. I feel like really initially it kind of started with the Kevin Falk, Warwick Duntree, and then from there, you got your Travis Miners, and then you just hear names from that point. That's something that I wanted to follow. All I remember is hearing about Warwick being at Catholic and being able to get to a state championship and ultimately not win it, but I was able to get there, get to the state championship and win it and be the MVP of the game. So.
But when you got there, was it kind of like a standard? Like, man, you're a running back at this school.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was. We had guys there. It was not myself, Darius Geis, Khalil Thomas was there. I mean, we had guys who, Travell Johnson was kind of like a hybrid. He'll play some offense, some defense, but I feel like if you were a running back at Catholic and you didn't get the ball and go yard, it was a problem. Coach Weiner was taking you out the game, and I feel like that's why Coach Weiner's being inducted into the Hall of Fame now, because if he's seen it and he's seen the talent and he put you out there, it was something about him seeing you and you doing it, and him knowing that you wanted to do it. It's the reason why Catholic running backs are where we are now. But it looked like we still rolling them out. So now I think it's just in the water.
There's another big kid there now.
Yeah.
At LSU, man, you know, with you, Justin and Jamal and Joe and all, I mean, it was talent, but there was a lot of chemistry on that team, wasn't there?
Yeah. I would say to this day we still are best friends. We have a group message. It's literally LSU, or not only that, it's like first round picks LSU. It's like it's so many of us in the group message, but we talking it so much, and that just goes to show you, like, we were not just 16, 17-year-old dudes who were just on a team together, playing together. Like, that's where I found family. And to this day, if guys fly in here, you know, they able to stay at the house or stay at whoever's house, and we all link up. If we do go to an LSU game, you always see us together. It's no separation. So that's when I realized, like, okay, these guys I'm linking up with here, and these are my roommates. Like, that group and those years, we were the last group of the two-a-days. We were the last group of, like, doing the things that I felt like is the epitome of college football. I remember us locking down the team room so the coaches couldn't get in there, and we just, like, call it club ops. And, like, we would literally go crazy, and it was just the football team. And I feel like having that camaraderie, having those guys who were there on those older teams, Arden Key, Devin White, who kind of molded us initially to be like, these y'all boys, y'all make sure y'all boys. And from there we rolled and let the football aspect handle itself. That was the easy part, being able to go out there and play. But it's easier when you're going out there playing with your friends.
You were on this team late last season, right? But, like, being able to go through a full off season, obviously with the new staff, like, maybe what's it been like?
I would say really just being able to get the switch of understanding what we wanted to do in OTAs, and then as professional-wise, just kind of like dropping everything that happened last year and moving on, because, you know, it was obviously we're trying to push that under, we're trying to get rid of that. That's not what we're thinking about. And then once I kind of seen the offense and everything, OTAs, realized, you know, who Coach Moore was and how many times I played against him when I was at KC, or, you know, when he was at Dallas, and just watching how successful the offense was. That's when I was like, okay, now I know what we're trying to get done, and I know where we want to go. Now it's just getting the tools in order to do it. And I would say OTAs, it was big on terminology, words. I wouldn't necessarily say we were big on trying to figure out who was going to be where, but it was really just understanding this is why we call the plays, when we call them, why we want to call them, and this is how we're going to call them. And once you kind of get that aspect down of knowing this is what Kellen wants, everything else becomes, you know, easy, smooth, lanyard. It's nothing to it. So that's why I feel like we were able to have the first 10 days and then go out and have a 126 play scrimmage, because the way we built the scripts and the way we built the game plans and the installs, it made it easier for us to go out and have a call in and run it segment. Whole practice was pretty much that whole thing. So that's the cool part. It's building blocks, and it's not like we were going out there and everybody was dead tired and we had 126 plays. It was a nice, fresh scrimmage and something that I feel like the whole team needed.
To that point, how fun was it? How fun has it been to learn Kellen's offense, especially since you've seen it from the other side? And how does it fit what you do best?
It's been fun because I see how he brought something from each team where he found or had a gem. Well, okay, like I'm gonna use this guy for this and use that guy for that, and now it's like he has so many weapons from the outside to the inside to the tight ends to the running backs. It's more of like I can throw everything at y'all, and then y'all just go out there and handle it. I love it because we have empty in early. We have things with Pony with two backs in. We have things that kind of showcase my skill set, and obviously, you know, I know I can run in between the tackles. I did it, you know, the past 5 years at KC, but it's also being able to, okay, let's split them out. let's use him as far as a receiver threat. And not only that, when you mix that up with how many receiving threats that we have on the team already, it's like the play calls and what Kellen can do is endless. You know, he can go out and just, you know, line people up. Why not have AK spread it out left and Clyde spread it out right and see which backer goes which way? You know, that makes it easy. So you're able to manipulate a lot of defenses, a lot of schemes, and a lot of personnel based off what you can have and what you can do with this offense.
Clyde, how do you evaluate yourself as a pass protector, and how has that developed over your years?
I would say, you know, just starting from my rookie year, it was something that I wouldn't say the greatest, but I knew who was identifiable, who I had, and it's something that no matter what year you're in, you feel like you have to work on it. And I would say year 6, I'm probably my best that I have been in pass protection, with understanding that different offense and different things of how I approach it and who's lined up to me. It's been times where I know we would check out a pass pro because it's easier to just get the ball to the back, you know, because, you know, that's the easiest way out. But understanding that some things that we have that's called, you have to, you know, and I like it. I mean, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and stunt to you because it's more of not having to think on the fly all the time. It's like, this is what I have to do. It's concrete. It's done. Yeah. Once I know my assignment, the assignment, you know, as long as it gets done, it gets done. But I would say it's based off opportunities. If the opportunity to showcase itself, you pull up, you do it, and then you move on to the next play. And obviously, the better you can do that, the more you probably had a ball in your hand, and not only that, probably receiving yards also. So it'll start to have defenses consider blitz in the back also, which makes the offense open up a lot more.
What do you think of the competition in the running back room?
Right now, I would say everything is kind of based off opportunity. It's so many things that each guy can do and each guy can showcase. But, you know, if we just had a day that we were just out just literally running the ball all day, I feel like each running back will pop off some runs. So it's based off, you know, the opportunities just put in front of us. But I also know it's so many heads and so many guys that's in the room that, you know, they can only evaluate so much and only could put guys out there on so many plays. And it's not like you're going to go out there and run 10 plays in a row unless it's like 10 runs straight. But right now, I feel like each guy is coming out head on fire in the competition and understanding what we need, you know, what we need to get done in the room. And each guy every day is asking what they can do better, and we go out and we correct it the next day. So right now, we do all we can do, so we leave the power in their hands and not on us.
Kind of related to that, I mean, with a bunch of guys all fighting for the spots, like, how important are these preseason games for y'all with live reps, live tackling, and all that stuff to show that, you know, there's more there besides the practice?
Yeah. I would say it's for our room, it's huge. Because, I mean, other than that, you really can't say that these are live bullets when you go in that practice. It's a different feel when you go in and getting tackled. It's a different feel when a guy might not come on a blitz and might coffee house, and then you have to adjust your eyes and get somewhere to a different route. I feel like that's when the football aspect of it comes in, and some guys are going to be football players and some guys are going to be robots. So I feel like once you get in that span and to that point, you can see, okay, this guy's going to do this guy's going to do that. And it's not you get your play from the sideline, you're able to run in and know, okay, this is what I have. It's more of you react to what you see, you play your game, and you roll with it. So I think that's when you will start to see cream rise to the top.
Clyde, you said last year that playing for this team towards the end of last year was a dream come true for you. What was it like to get the phone call to come back, and what's it like to be back?
Initially just really seeing the 504 number coming across my phone, you know, when it was Mickey calling me, I was itching to get on the plane once I realized, you know, who it was and where I was going to be, and obviously I wasn't even thinking about the circumstance because I already knew. It was more of the opportunity of now being able to have the conversation, you know, here and put myself in in the spot to be here because I wasn't always guaranteed that I was going to be here this training camp. So it was realizing that my dream could become reality if I did what I needed to do. I feel like I only had 2 games to kind of showcase that at the end of last year, but I feel like it was enough to get me in the building for now. But not only that, now I was doing it again with a new coaching staff and showing them that I can be that incentive, you know, that comes with picking a guy up later on and then keeping him around and showing that he's a 2-time Super Bowl champ, you know, national champ. Like, he's been a champion on every level for a reason, and that's why he's here, and that's why we're going to keep Clyde on you know, moving with the Saints.
Where were you when you got the phone call?
I was literally at home. My wife and I was messing with my dog, and you know, my phone ringing, and she was like, "Oh, somebody from New Orleans calling you." I'm like, "Well, obviously not, you know, my mom or your mom. I mean, it has to be somebody that's important." And we literally was eating dinner, and I remember packing up that same night. Like, she packed my bag up, hopped on the plane, and I was literally leaving out of Kansas City like 11:30 that same night. I was here in the morning getting my physical. I was done with my physical by 8, and I was in team meeting by 9. So it was a smooth transition. Yeah.
Just real quick, were you talking with any other teams at all?
I ended up talking to Detroit because they were on a run towards the end, and I think Montgomery was having some things with his knee, and it sucks. But Kansas City called back, so it is what it is. But I knew where I wanted to be. Yeah.
Clyde, when you were a kid growing up in Baton Rouge, was there anybody you kind of model your style after?
Oh, I would say I had a Darren Sproles poster in my room. I also had a Reggie Bush poster, and my dad gave me a tape that I used to watch on VHS, and it was a Barry Sanders tape. So out of those 3 guys, I feel like height-wise, I was more after Darren, but, you know, play style-wise, a mixture of all 3.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Yep, thank y'all.
Yep. You going out to California?